What's up, Janksters? It's John here. So this is deck number 2 as I make my way through the families of Capenna. This deck only has 4 rares, hence the budget. Now let's talk about what this deck wants to do.
Okay, I'm ready.
So with this deck, I tried to build around the Casualty mechanic, and if you're unaware of Casualty, I'll explain it really quickly. So this spell's going to have Casualty on it, and then some type of value afterwards, some type of, maybe a number, maybe an X, but that value represents the creature's power. So as you cast a spell, you sacrifice a creature with power equal to or greater than the value that's right next to that word Casualty. And if you do, you get to copy the spell. So one of the Casualty spells that we have is this one right here, a little chat. A 2-mana instant with Casualty 1, with look at the top 2 cards of your library and put one of them into your hand. We also have Make Disappear, a 2-mana instant with Casualty 1, counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. Just a little bit of protection that synergizes with what we're trying to do. We also have Grisly Sigil. Now this card's a little bit funky if you're not familiar with what it does, so I'll try to explain it pretty quickly. A 1-mana sorcery, Casualty 1, and what's going to happen is if you just cast this spell, it's just going to deal 1 damage to a creature and you're going to gain 1 life. If the creature had taken damage that turn, it's going to deal 3 damage to that creature and you gain 3 life. So if you cast this and you meet the condition for Casualty, the first copy is going to resolve, ping the creature for 1, you're going to gain 4 life, and then the copy is going to see that damage and deal 3 damage and you're going to gain 3 life. So pretty much as long as you're meeting Casualty, you're going to get 4 damage off of this card and gain 4 life. And the whole reason we're playing this deck is to kind of play around with Maestro's Ascendancy. The only rare in the deck, it's a 3-mana enchantment that says, once during each of your turns, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from your graveyard by sacrificing a creature, in addition to paying its other costs. So the way I plan for this to work is Maestro Ascendancy gives us a lot of value in our Casualty spells by allowing us to reuse them. And since Maestro's Ascendancy and Casualty require creatures to sacrifice, let's talk about some of the creatures that we're going to be sacrificing. We have a 4 of Eye Twitch, a 1-mana 1/1 with flying, and whenever it dies, we can get something from our sideboard. We have 2 environmental science and
Can't even read.
2 environmental sciences, a necrotic fumes for removal, an inkling summoning, and 3 pest summonings. We also have Shambling Ghast, a 1-mana 1/1. Whenever it dies, we can off an X1 or we can create a treasure token. Also, we have Persistent Specimen, a 1-mana 1/1 with pay 3, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. This is an instant speed ability, so we can do this on our opponent's end step to make sure we have a creature to sacrifice to Casualty or Ascendancy or even a creature to attack with. Moving on from that, we have Doomed Dissenter, a 2-mana 1/1. Whenever it dies, we create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. We also have Expedition Magician. Try saying that 4 times fast. A 3-mana 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, we can create a 1/1 token or a treasure token. Now, finishing up some of the stuff that we missed from the curve, we're also running 2 Deadly Disputes. A 2-mana instant, you can sacrifice a creature and artifact and draw 2 cards and create a treasure token. This card, in my opinion, is actually better than a little chat, but I just wanted to have it in the deck so I can test it out, play with it, see how it feels. But with this one, you're getting 1 card, and this one you're getting 2 and a treasure token without even copying the spell. We also have Maestro's Charm, a 3-mana instant. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, put one of those in your hand, the rest go in your library. So some card advantage on the first mode. The second mode, opponent loses 3 life and we gain 3 life. Maybe there's some situations where this can help finish an opponent off, or maybe we just really need the life. We can use this mode. And the last one is just a fine removal spell, 5 damage to a target creature or a planeswalker. As far as winning the game, there's no big finisher. Really, we're just trying to get in with our little creatures, generate value with some of our Casualty cards. But we do have this card here, Forge Boss, a 4-mana 3/4. Whenever you sacrifice 1 or more other creatures, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. This ability only triggers once each turn. Last but not least, we're going to talk about Burn Down the House, a 5-mana sorcery that works as a sweeper. The last ability, create 3 1/1 Red Devil creature tokens with whenever this creature dies, deal 1 damage to any target. So it's another way of generating more creatures to sacrifice, and also they do have haste so they can get in. As far as the mana base, we have 3 islands, 7 swamps, 5 mountains, 4 Maestro Theater, and 4 Uncharted Havens, the last 2 being our mana fixing. And yeah, that's the deck. But before we get into the games, please like and subscribe. It's a free way of helping me out. But with that out of the way, let's get into it. Okay, back with the final thoughts. So, if I'm being honest, the deck did a lot better than I thought it was going to do. There was a match I know the opponent just didn't really do anything. I guess they were kind of stumbling a little bit. I'm not really sure what their deck was. I saw a Barbarian class and a creature that made the little 0/1s that ping you every turn. But that was pretty much all they did was Barbarian class, that card, and an equipment, something like that. But yeah, they just didn't do much, so we just kind of ran them over. But I did like that we were able to get a lot of value out of the cards that we had. I mean, a little chat, sure, definitely not as good as Deadly Dispute. Grizzly Sigil did a lot better than I thought. I feel like it's held back a little bit by being sorcery. That might make me not play it. I'm not sure. I might have to play around with it a little bit more to see. Persistent Specimen, this one, I want to say disappointed, but I'm not disappointed in the card itself, just disappointed I didn't really get to show how well it synergizes with the deck. I don't think I got any games recorded where I was able to do anything with it, but in the non-recorded games, it's very easy to get back. Sure, it's a 1/1, but it turns on Casualty, it turns on Maestro's Ascendancy. I feel like this card has a lot of potential once some type of budget sacrifice list is more fleshed out, but it's a good card. Shambling Gas, it's always good. Eye Twitch, just a good card. Make Disappear, I think, did win us a game by being able to counter something. We didn't even need to use the Casualty. They had 1 mana open, so just casting it naturally was fine. But I think this card is a lot more important than it actually appears, because you don't really have a lot of power in the deck. Really, it's just the power comes from being able to generate a lot of value from the Casualty mechanic and being able to recast spells from your graveyard. So something like this is really nice to help stop your opponent from doing something too crazy, or casting something that's going to be really tough, difficult for you to deal with. Doom to Center was fine. I think there was a game where we were able to cast a Burn Down the House and then rebuild extremely quickly, and this card really helped do that by dying and then making a 2/2, so upgrading itself. But Maestro's Ascendancy, we really didn't see it do too much. It is really nice, though, being able to cast those cards from your graveyard. Maestro's Charm is another one we didn't get to see too much of, but what we did see, it was pretty nice. I don't believe we ever used the second ability, and I can't remember ever using it even outside of recorded games. But, you know, being able to draw a card off of the top and refill your graveyard is nice. A pretty nice removal spell is also great, just for 3 mana. Forge Boss, it did win us some games. That extra damage that it can do, because sure, it's just once per turn. When you're getting in for a lot of chip damage, that 2 damage does start adding up. As soon as I saw these Casualty cards spoiled, all I wanted to do was build a deck with Eye Twitch and Shambling Gas and figure the rest out and throw a bunch of the Casualty stuff in there. And that's what I did with this deck. And it was fun. Just a nice casual deck to play. Not competitive, not meta, but just if you're just looking for a little bit of fun, this is fun. But I can't really advise anyone to craft Maestro's Ascendancy. I don't think it's one of the most powerful ones that we have. Definitely not the weakest, but I think there's other things you can spend your wild cards on other than Maestro's Ascendancy, and even really trying to get this deck to work. Like I said, it was just for fun, just for show. But anyways, that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, it's a free way to help out. Also sub if you want more. But that's it for this one. I'll see you guys on the next one. But while you're here, why don't you go ahead and check out this video here. Or here. One of these. I don't know. It's going to be somewhere. Check that video out.